fully aware that you all are probably seeing a black square chatting right now. I was having some issues with my video lagging and making me sound like a chipmunk and speeding up or not working at all. So I apologize that I can't have my video on tonight. But my name is Jackie Geiselman. I am one of the Ruby Hill co-presidents, and we are lucky to have an awesome crew joining us tonight. This is very exciting. So I'll pass it over to Brandy.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandy Moe, and I'm the other co-president of the Ruby Hill Neighbors RNO. And it's so good to see everyone's fun faces. Steve, feels like it's been a minute. Hi. So I would love to just jump right in. We have updates from Denver District 4 Police. We also have updates from Joel and Clark's office with the lovely Tate. And after that, we're going to have Andy. I think it's Andy Lyde. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he's going to tell us a bit about the mission of an organization he is a part of called Open Up. And then we're going to close with Gabby Serrato with the city of Denver. And she's just going to give us some cool updates about just things that are going on in and around our neighborhood. So a nice little packed agenda. And depending on whether Officer Chavez or Officer Anderson, whoever would like to kind of take the floor, it's all yours.
Hey everybody, it's Officer Anderson. I'll go over the stats first, and then we can take questions after that. To give you some context to the stats that I'm going to read, this is comparing January of 2020 to January of 21. So last year we had 4 burglaries in January, and this year we have had 8, which is a 100% increase from last year. Larceny, we had 1 last year as compared to 9 this year, and that is an 800% increase. That seems like a lot. Theft from motor vehicle, 4 last year. It's now 5, which is a 25% increase. And motor vehicle theft was 8 last year to 16 this year, which is a 100% increase. So we have seen some numbers increase between last year and this year. I know that some of the motor vehicle thefts have been contributed to puffing. We've had a lot of puffer steals, especially in the what we call the 422 area, which is your area that you live in. For some reason, that area gets hit fairly hard. So be sure that if you're starting your vehicles in the morning, do not leave them running with your keys in it by all means, unless you have an automatic starter. For 1, it's illegal, and 2, you will get your car stolen. There's no question about it. We've had a lot of increase in porch pirates. We've seen an increase in that kind of all over the district, but these guys are following around the Amazon trucks and things like that. So they're trying to get smarter. So if you have other ways to get your packages delivered, I'd recommend, doing to the drop boxes or whatever, the garage code that they do now. But it looks like burglaries, I can't really attest to why that one is up this time of year. Sometimes, we just get, I know that the marijuana dispensaries have been hit a little bit this year, more so than usual. And that could be contributing to some of those numbers because you do have a lot of dispensaries in your area. Does anybody have any questions? No? Jeremy?
And I will say too, we are manning the chat. So if you would rather just put your question into the chat, that way too, we have it recorded there so we can reference it with the District 4 officers. You're more than welcome to do that. Or as long as everyone, I trust we are all up to date on Zoom etiquette. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, by all means, feel free to do so as well.
Yeah, and I don't have really anything, this Officer Chavez, I really don't have much to add. And again, don't be alarmed by the larceny from 1 to 9, that 800%, that could be like a gas station theft or something. So that's not a big deal. I know it sounds ridiculously high, but other than that, I mean, Jason covered pretty much all the bases. And we have seen an influx and a little bit more homeless in the area, especially in Ruby Hill on Arizona, behind the Exile power plant. So I got a few phone calls over the past week or 2 regarding that. Councilman Clark is well aware of that. And we've been working closely with Anita Banuelos and everybody working on some resources and things like that. I just want to give you guys a heads up too. If you want to put on your Facebook page, not this Friday, but the following Friday. I don't know the date off top hand. It's going to be our bi-weekly food drive. We partner with We Don't Waste, a great resource we found this summer. We've been partnering with them for about 7-8 months now. It will be from 10 to 2, and that's a food drive, a drive-through food drive. You open up your hatch, we load you up with all kinds of goods, and that's a drive up. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, that's all I really have.
Awesome. Are there any other questions out there? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much for attending, you guys. We really appreciate your updates. It's always really nice to be able to connect and ask questions when we have them, for sure. So thank you so much.
All right, everybody,
Have a good meeting.
See ya. All right, well, let's jump right in with Tate Carpenter. She is with Councilman Jolyn Clark's office, and we'd just love to hear what you guys are up to in District 7.
Thanks, Brandy. I am filling in tonight for your city council person, Jolyn, who is at his weekly, normally Monday meeting, but yesterday was a holiday, and then normally Anita attends these meetings. So I'm Tate, if I haven't met you before. A couple of updates from city council. 2 Mondays ago, Denver City Council approved a major overhaul of the city's zoning code as it relates to group living. After 3 years of public discussions, meetings, and a bunch of tweaks based on feedback. Some of the changes that were proposed were to help expand housing possibilities in Denver and to modernize the zoning code. Council received by far the most amount of testimony I've ever seen at a Monday night meeting, over 1,000 emails for and against the proposal, 150 speakers signed up to speak. It was over 6 hours of testimony. So the major changes will allow an increase in the number of unrelated adults who can share a home from 2 people currently to 5 people. And this is pretty consistent in the Denver metro area, like Aurora, Golden, Westminster, Parker, and our other peer cities like Seattle and Salt Lake City allow more unrelated people to live together. Other changes include residential facilities like homeless shelters, halfway houses, sober living, assisted living, and nursing homes will be regulated by size rather than by the type of services they offer. And they will be allowed in more areas of the city rather than just concentrated in the industrial zones. So this won't really impact Ruby Hill too much. The new law will prohibit halfway homes from entering residential areas where only single family, duplex, and row homes are built. So these like low density areas, they will not be allowed. So if you'd like to learn more, it's a lot of information, but you can visit the city's website, denvergov.org/group living. There's an FAQ, and of course you can always email our office. Another exciting program that just got rolled out is the 5-star certification program, which allows certified businesses to increase their capacity by implementing safety measures that go above and beyond what's currently required as it relates to COVID restrictions. So this program is for people that go above and beyond and that prioritize the health and safety of customers and staff. And we're really trying to reach out to those businesses that could really benefit from this. So when I first learned about the program, I thought it was only for restaurants, but it is gyms, indoor events, personal services, other business types. So if you know of a business that could really benefit from this, steer them in the direction of the 5-star certification program. The website for that is denver.org/5-star. And hopefully we can help support those small businesses. And then Gabby's here, so I'll let her speak on some of the mobility projects coming up in the area, but we're really excited. Lots of good pedestrian, bicycle infrastructure, multimodal, safe streets. Really, really looking forward to the Iowa underpass and the Jewel Evans pedestrian bridge getting going on construction. So that's all I have for you guys, but I'm welcome to any questions.
Kate, can you share that link one more time so I can put it in the chat? And it was 5 as in the word 5 and the number.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link. It was a little confusing.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And there was a question that came in.
Okay.
Chat. since you're in there, I'm sure you just saw about the underpass. Do you have any updates on that or any further information?
Yeah, so Gabby can definitely speak to this more than I can, but the first phase will be the Santa Fe shared path. The design is completed and we expect construction to begin in 2021. So yes, it is happening. Yes, hooray.
And I will speak more about all the dotting projects when it's my turn. So, you know.
Hey, Gabby.
Hi, everybody.
Right.
Any other questions for Tate? We're so quiet this evening. No? Okay, well, we all know where to find her too. The any District 4 or sorry, District 7, the email, we can put Tate's email up there too. So which I don't think we've done, but
I'll put it in the chat.
Last call for questions for Tate.
Oh, and I was going to say, we get a lot of questions about vaccines, and it's constantly new information. And we do get word about vaccines, vaccine clinics in the district, and we're trying to push that information out as fast as we can. Please check our website, luckydistrict7.org, our Facebook page and our Twitter page, because as soon as we get word about those events, we do try to push it out, but they fill quickly because everyone is trying to get one. So. But yeah, stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tate. And too, if you guys have questions you think of in a little bit, feel free to throw them in the chat too, and we'll see if we can get them answered. And there's Tate's email as well. So, well, awesome. And we're super lucky to have Andy here. He's with Open Up, and I just think this is such an interesting program. And Andy, hi, nice to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi, and Andy has a great presentation for us, and then we'll have some time to ask him some questions as well. So Andy, take it away.
Great, thank you. Let me share my screen with you. It's good to go after Tate. She was speaking about the Denver Group Living amendment that happened. And so this definitely relates to that and your opportunities related to that. So thank you so much for hosting me. My name is Andy Lyde, and I'm the executive director of a local nonprofit called Open Up. So as residents of Denver, you are well aware of the affordable housing crisis in Colorado. In short, there's a much greater need for affordable housing than there are traditional units available. The two main pieces of the affordable housing puzzle are income and cost of housing. In 2018, there was a deficit of over 90,000 available unaffordable units in the Denver metro area. Interestingly, though, there are at least 442,000 unused livable spaces in Denver homes alone. And these livable spaces would be empty bedrooms, finished basements, etc. So how will low-income renters access this existing space? The big idea of Open Up is to match low-income adults pursuing self-sufficiency through career development with homeowners, renters, and property owners who rent their unused livable space at an affordable rate. In doing this, more renters are able to access affordable space, which frees up money for other expenses. It allows homeowners to earn income by sharing unused space, and it increases the thriving in a community. Neighbors are helping neighbors, there's less financial strain, and money stays in the community. As you can see by these stats gathered from the City and County of Denver's housing plan and the National Low Income Housing Coalition, the need in Denver for affordable housing is great. Over 25,000 households in Denver are spending too much on housing, and too much is defined as more than 30% of your income. So how does it work with Open Up? We receive our clients as referrals from other community organizations, mostly career development organizations. We go through an extensive application and interview process and conduct a nationwide background check. When a client is accepted into our program, we approach a homeowner with available space and present the opportunity to make a housing match. If the homeowner is willing, we facilitate a match meeting so each party can meet and talk. Afterwards, we follow up with each party separately to see if they want to move forward. If they don't, we try a new match combination. And if they do want to move forward, we facilitate that process for them and setting up a month-to-month lease. Our clients are using their own money to pay rent, and Open Up does not charge them or the homeowner for the service we provide. We then continue supporting our clients and helping them reach their housing goals, and are, of course, available to support the homeowner if any issues arise. So since December of 2017, we have made 51 matches, and our goal for this year is to make 44 new matches to serve our community. You've already met me. Our other key team member is our case manager, Dixie. She's the one working directly with our clients on setting and achieving goals towards housing self-sufficiency. And as I mentioned, we work with other community organizations in the Denver area. Here's a partial list of some of the organizations we partner with to serve our neighbors. If you are interested in renting out your space, you could post on Craigslist and take your chances. Or you could work with Open Up and have fully vetted potential tenants presented to you based on your needs and preferences, and who then receive ongoing support from respected community organizations. Every step of our process is opt-in for everyone involved, and you're never stuck. If this is something that interests you, here are some next steps for you to take. You can go to our website and learn more about us. You can contact me directly to get your questions answered. If you're already sold on the idea, you can fill out the application on our website. And if you're not quite ready to sign up and want to keep us in mind, you can sign up for our newsletter on the website too. Open Up is a community of mold breakers. We're no longer interested in leaving problems for someone else to solve. For us, the housing crisis will be solved with existing resources. While home sharing feels like innovation, we've gotten here by circling around old fires. We know that there is nothing more ancient than hospitality to our neighbors. So I'll put my contact information in the chat box, and I'm happy to stick around and answer as many questions as you have.
Andy, thank you so much. I'm kind of obsessed about this idea. You know, we all know there's issues with housing in Denver. There's not enough of it. It's getting pretty expensive, and keeping just, those folks and the money in the community where you live, it just makes good sense. So I'm really, really glad that you were able to present today, for sure. But with that, does anyone have any questions of Andy? I think we all worked too hard today. We're just, we're out of talks.
It's really good content and really good information that I think people are just excited to hear about it too.
Thanks, Jackie. So I'll put my contact information in the chat box. Happy to hear from anybody if you have questions. And yeah, thanks for your time, guys.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, I have a quick question for you. Do you, maybe this is tough to just know off the top of your head, but were there matches in the Ruby Hill neighborhood that you know of?
I don't. So I don't actually know the bounds of Ruby Hill. So maybe if you tell me what are the boundaries of it?
I just don't understand. You haven't memorized the Ruby Hill neighborhood boundaries? That's crazy.
Not yet. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So it is Federal on the west, and then Mississippi, essentially the Platte River, and then we go officially and unofficially down to Evans. So
I don't believe so. I don't believe, I can't think of any recent matches in West Denver. So I think more on the east side of I-25, and from I-70 down through Aurora. That's the majority of our home providers would be in that region so far.
Well, hey, maybe this presentation just changed that.
Yeah, that's right. I hope so.
Any questions of Andy, you guys?
I do have a follow-up note too, that this presentation was wonderful, and I know we have a version we can share, or if there's any other PDFs or promotional things that you would like us to share on our social media platforms, we're always happy to do that too. So just putting that out there as well.
Great. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay, well, if you guys think of questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, but let's open it up for Gabby to give us some really cool updates that are going on in the neighborhood. So Gabby, go for it.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here virtually. Glad to see, faces. I haven't been around in a while, so I sincerely apologize, but feel free, Brandy, Jackie, if you guys ever have anybody has any questions, feel free to ping me. So yes, we do have a ton of things happening in our neighborhood. So I am do I have ability to share? Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Oh, no, I do not have ability to share my screen.
Gabby, one sec. Let me do.
Okay, thank you. So during the meantime, yes, we have a wide variety of projects to give you all sort of an update. Thank you. Hold on, let's figure out, let me not mess this one up. So let's start. Oh my goodness, wait, how does this, wait. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find usually screen one, which I'm not sure. Oh, hold on. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, let's start with this one. All right. Okay, so I have it all already sort of open so I can be as brief as possible. So the first thing, very quick, I think hopefully you all have to know through our outreach or through Councilman Clark's outreach that we have a whole bunch of bikeway projects that are taking place in Southwest Denver. And by Southwest, I basically mean west of I-25, south of Colfax. One in particular that definitely relates to Ruby is the Zunai Street bikeway. This one is in collaboration with the city of Englewood. And basically, we're trying to figure out a way if we can basically implement a bikeway on Zunai from Dartmouth to Jewel, or to Jewel to Dartmouth. That would basically, on the south end, if we would, on our plans and programs, we have another proposed bikeway on Dartmouth that would make that east-west connection. And on the west side, it would be sort of that really good straight direction to Loretto Heights campus, the new redevelopment that is taking place on that south side. So hopefully you guys have seen this, but we have the first virtual open house on the 25th. So please, if you can, definitely attend. This is, we're in that listening mode of like, okay, which ones are the elements that are potentially conflicting, or what you're seeing over there. I know that this is a small portion of Ruby, but if by any chance, you just happen to know, all of the neighborhoods in this area, definitely please, we need as much feedback as possible. So the next lovely project, and this one we have been working on for what seems to be forever, but it is moving forward. And hopefully Jackie and Brandy were able to share this information with you a little bit earlier. But do you all remember the lovely Grandusi funds that we had? Jesus, I mean, seriously, this is when I first started at Denver, and this is just how long this process takes, right? So we went through the, identifying the issues, we sort of narrowed it down. You all voted on which ones you guys would prefer to have. And these are basically, the locations that we're able to move forward. And hopefully by moving forward, we are under design right now. So hopefully we can actually get them implemented, fingers crossed, later this year. So basically we have striping improvements over on Florida, over the Platte River Bridge, which is also, by the way, is being rehabbed this summer as well. So basically after the rehab, there's going to be sort of new striping that goes on top of it. And let me see if I have it. I think so. So this is existing conditions. And basically, so this is the sort of the new configuration of the bridge. We had that really bizarre, buffer zone that it was the bike lane and then a buffer to the sidewalk. And that kind of really didn't make any sense. And so basically we are, because of that configuration, we are able to do, utilize that, random space and actually provide a buffer for the bike lane. And, again, that separation, from the cars, a little bit better separation from the car if you're a pedestrian on the bridge, and a better configuration and telling folks how to reach Sanderson Gulch Trail. So that's one of the projects. Then from the Grandusi funds, then is the Safe Routes to School sorry, I totally forgot the name of the schools. I know that we have Gottman and then Schmidt. Schmidt is the one that I forgot. So basically what we're looking at doing is that at the intersections for the schools is actually adding, let me zoom in, are sort of raised intersection medians. So if you see them right here on the screen, is again to be able to slow down the slow down traffic enough so that obviously the kiddos can cross to, or if you're just walking across the neighborhood, a little bit safer. But we're actually we didn't have that much funding in Grandusi to make all of these projects happen. So we were trying to figure out how we can sort of combine forces. And this one, and in all of the projects that you see around the Gottsman and Schmidt are actually also funded through Safe Routes to School as well. So we have intersection improvements at Vallejo and Jewel. Then if we're gonna go, hold on, whoa, that is a zoomed in version, sorry. Oh. Then we have, so that's Vallejo and Jewel, Tejon and Jewel. So that's existing conditions. Sorry, these designs sort of going to zoom and then going out of zoom. So it's sort of the same similar concepts. Intersection medians, one side having a pedestrian refuge. Intersection is tight enough so that people will definitely stop for the stop signs right there. And then a zoomed in version. And then over in Gottsman, at Tejon and Florida. And over here, so let me show you what we're proposing, is basically actually putting it on the east leg of the intersection, that pedestrian refuge, and we're working with Parks and Rec to actually, because they're working on the gulch, on a gulch plan or improvements, and so to formalize this connection for the residents itself. And then we have, that's another close-up version of Navajo. An actual Navajo, we were trying to figure out Navajo and Florida, again, connection to Ruby Hill Park. We were trying to figure out exactly which side of the road the pedestrian refuge sort of makes the most, makes the most sense, and it's actually safest. We have that hill that is right there, and because of sight distance issues, we have to take that into account. So we actually settled on, we were able to settle on the east leg of the intersection. We would have to reconstruct some of the curbs that are right there in order to provide that direct connection. We have an existing one on the western leg. Again, it's not safe enough based on our standards. It's not safe enough where, if there is an actual car coming, that to actually be able to see you cross. So all of that takes into consideration. And then in addition to that, we're trying to figure out if we can meet the warrants for some level of rapid flashing beacon, the one that, flashes for pedestrians. If we're not able to meet the warrants right now, we are going to implement just this basic version right now. And then basically, again, we're working with Parks and Rec as they're doing their gulch also improvements to see if once we implement it, unfortunately in our side of the world is you first have to build it and then, assess if they will come. To not be proactive, unfortunately. So we do have to meet that warrant of number of a basic level of pedestrian crossings in order to trigger, that rapid flashing beacon. But we're working with Parks and Rec so that after we implement it, whether that improves the number of crossings, and therefore we can implement, that additional safety improvements. So that is for the, sorry, I need to lower this just because I can't see the bar for this thing is like, for the Zoom is right on top of this. So that's for the Grandusi Safe Routes to School. I know that it looked like we had a couple of questions, or I don't know if we want to wait until the very end or take them in this halfway stop.
I think the questions were revolved around how we can share this information, where this video will be posted and distributed. And this invite that we shared with Andy, please, if there is anything that we can help promote and help support this data, just let us know. That's what our platform is here for. We are definitely excited about these improvements and this safety. And oh, it does look like there might have been one that was that just came in from Joyce. So Joyce, I actually think I might give you some time to present this after Gabby's presentation because that seems important. So yeah, go ahead. You can continue.
If you guys want to help once it's implemented, please use this crossing and just, throw me a little hint about the peak times, because we, our data gathering is sort of, we try to use it by peak time. So, if 20 people happen to be crossing, are going to be crossing at a particular time, please let me know. So, all right, next project. Now, as we sort of talked about it a little bit, we kind of hinted at it, the Iowa Underpass project. So this one was the really awesome project that was funded through Dr. Cog, which is the regional planning authority over here that allocates sort of state and federal funds over to local projects. So we actually had to split this project into two phases because the actual phase under the actual Iowa Underpass, SHPO, a state agency that is historic, that handles the historical function of a lot of stuff, actually said that the railings underneath the Iowa Underpass are historic. We fought very, very, very much against it. We have tried everything possible to let them know, to make them the point across that, okay, they may be historic, for the love of God. This is a safety issue that we're talking here, but we were not able to be successful. RNO sent letters, like there was a whole commotion of it. Unfortunately, we lost the battle. So basically what that means is that we had to split the project up, where we can use federal and state funds for the Santa Fe portion of the project, but we have to find local funds for the Iowa portion that will fully reconstruct. The good news is that the Santa Fe portion, which basically, and I'm gonna go to sort of the next one. These are all lovely construction plans that are actually, are available for the public to see. The Santa Fe portion goes from Iowa down to Jewel. And the concept, of course, is to build a separated trail. If I can just go back to where that page where I was before, which I totally forgot what number page was it. But here you can see a little bit is basically, this is sort of the hold on a second. Darn it. Oh, I lost it. So sorry, a meandering trail, basically going north to south on Santa Fe, that basically the general concept is to basically end at Jewel, where it would then connect to the Jewel, technically Jewel Evans bicycle and pedestrian bridge. But at this point, I think it can be solidly changed to Jewel bicycle pedestrian bridge, so that it would make, again, that really smooth connection, overcoming this, Santa Fe Drive, the railroad tracks, and so forth. So basically for the Santa Fe, for the Santa Fe portion, again, going from Florida down to Jewel, that one is, we are actually seeking construction companies right now. We hope to start construction actually in Q2, which is right around the corner, and we're expecting only 6-month construction period. So we should have a pretty a pretty amazing trail right next to Santa Fe, that it feels safe and comfortable for folks in order to be, to be able to achieve. And the Santa Fe portion will improve as you will see, the crossings over on Santa Fe. The one element is just that we cannot get started on the formal portion underneath the Iowa Underpass because of that, until we find that local funding, which, the funding gap that we have, I think it's somewhere around 3 million, which, in some cases, in a lot of our other projects, it would not, it would be a little bit of a hiccup. We would still have to wait a little bit to find that money to start allocating, but because of COVID and the impacts that it had on our overall budget, the city budget, we are just not, at this time, we're still trying to figure out how we can, find from different projects, how we can find that gap. But at this point, we're still not losing hope. We can certainly make it happen, but at this point, we're saying construction in 2022. So we're giving ourselves 1 year to be able to, you know, for all of this COVID stuff to sort of get over and see where other projects are landing financially and being able to basically just grab their funds for it. And then I was not able to pull just in time the information for oh, actually I should have it right here. Ha, look at that. Oh, for the Jewel Evans Bike Ped Bridge. Design procurement is underway right now. Actually, you know, we have a series, we have narrowed it down to 3 different consultants, and we have interviews actually taking place in the beginnings of March. We hope to have basically a consultant selected in this spring. And it takes about, we're estimating about a year of design for this in particular, because we have to get UPC approval. We have to coordinate with CDOT and RTD and the railroads to build a structure over them. We do need their permission basically to build a structure over their facilities, that's the part that takes, you know, the coordination of it. It just takes a little bit. You know, we're hoping to basically be under 12 months if everything goes right. And so we can start basically construction in mid-2022. And we are also expecting a 1-year construction for this thing, just because propping it up, this really, really long bridge, I think it's 550 feet. That it's a pretty darn long bridge, but hopefully all of the consultants, I gotta say that we have selected are envisioning this really iconic bridge over it. And it's going to be very exciting. And of course, there's going to be, at the beginning stages of the design process, there's going to be public input. And we're going to have a series of meetings to sort of just discuss. But at this point, it is pretty solid. You know, it's 100% solid that the alignment is going to be Jewel. On the other side of Jewel, when it, you know, as it matches the Iowa underpass project, the solid, you know, the safe choice is to land it on the golf course, which we're coordinating with our DPR friends. But we also have the ability, if you know, there is a stretch of lands just south of this intersection in the southwest corner that is actually owned by CDOT. But again, because, you know, it's a CDOT property, we kind of have to get easement on them. But we have 2 very secure choices that basically will certainly make Jewel the landing spot for this pedestrian bridge, which will start creating a really connected network in total. So it's pretty exciting. So with that, I am done. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Gabby, my goodness, thank you so much. Like, I could not be more excited about some of these updates, especially in terms of just, you know, getting across different parts of our neighborhood in a safer manner. It's very,
huge.
yeah,
it's finally.
so great. I'm just so appreciative of your presentation and what's to come. But with that, who has some questions for Gabby? Steve?
I do. Yeah, wow, I'm super excited to see all this come to fruition too. I think it was like right after I first moved here that Jolan was talking about all this. So pretty exciting to see all of it. Gabby, sorry if I apologize if this has been addressed in previous meetings. But talking about like bicycle and pedestrian mobility, I was wondering what's happening with the bike path north of Florida. I know it's shut down, and I noticed that a bunch of trees were cut down too. And I was wondering if you could just tell us what the like long-term plan was for that, and if there's going to be more
on
trees.
The trail itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, that is a DPR project. I'm not 100% aware, like exactly into the minutia of things. I do know that that retaining wall was falling down, and that's why it really needed urgently. I am not sure. I think that once they went in and actually take a look at why the wall was falling down, they realized that it was a much bigger issue than anticipated. And that's why it has been a little bit of, you know, of a delay of fully getting the trail open back up again. I can certainly find out more information, Steve. I mean, I don't want to BS you. And so I don't know exactly all the minutia about why the trees, you know, have been cut. I do not all I know is that it was a much larger scale project that actually required, it was originally to be a DPR project, but then it became so, I guess it became so such a grave issue that Dottie actually had to contribute funds for it. So it's to that level, but I think it required additional sort of right of way and being able to like move the trail a little bit around in order to make it safe again. But I'm not 100% sure about like why the trees have been cut down. Yeah, I do, for the time being, as far as I know, is that Jason is still the way, sort of that detour area. It's not the most comfortable. Speaking of that, though, right now, one of our others, Denver, West Denver Safer Streets project, and I don't know, hopefully you guys were able to, some of you were able to attend our first open house that we had just actually was last week, I think so, or 2 weeks ago, shoot, can't remember. There is a discussion right now of some formal level of protected facility on Lipan, but because of all of the really high commercial uses, and it's not just commercial, we're talking like full freight uses along Lipan, Jason is potentially on the table, but making it again a much more comfortable facility than what we have right now. So I strongly recommend, and the whole point of the bicycle network is the same way that we have the different classifications for our roads, local, collector, and arterial, is to have the same designation for our bikes, neighborhood bikeways, traditional bike lanes, then buffer, and then fully protected. And so while we may have that trail that is literally right next to Jason, it is providing a different level of a network to people, where the trail is primarily used for recreation or commuters that are zipping by, or the spandex cyclists that are zipping by at 15 to 20, or me at 10 miles per hour, maybe 13 on my e-bike. But anyway, so if the community, we would also we would certainly appreciate you all being involved in the Lipan versus Jason discussion, but I can find more information particularly related as to the retaining wall on Platte River Trail.
Cool.
I was gonna say,
thank
Gabby,
you so much.
Sorry, I was gonna say, Gabby, you nailed it. The trail's closed because the retaining wall fell down. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
the trees
but
were cut.
it's taking a lot longer, but I didn't that expected, and so we're getting a lot of issues like, why is it still, it has gotten delayed to the point where the temporary bike facilities that we installed in Jason are getting worn out. So that's the issue, that people definitely, there's no that constant delineation between the bike facility and the travel and the roadway, and so that's why it's like, what's up, man? Why is it taking long? And so we can certainly provide more. We should provide more information about why the project is taking longer than anticipated.
Cool. Well, yeah, I just hope they can plant some trees back there, because in the summertime it's pretty sunny on that bike path, and
Gotcha. Okay.
I saw those cut down, and so yeah. Thanks, Gabby. You know your stuff.
Yeah, I tried to. Any other fun project? Any other questions? If not, I'm gonna make one last pitch. No other questions? Okay, so one last pitch, folks. Again, my side of the world is very data heavy, and we do not get enough 311 reports from Southwest Denver. 311 is our internal system, and basically how we hear from the community members and where we need to allocate more resources. And so I am going to show you very quickly how easy it is to go to submit a 311. You do have Tate. So Tate, if you ever want to do that, Tate submits it on your behalf. But just in case, you don't want to bug Tate. So you go to pocketgov.org, that takes you to this page right here. Then you go to the tab.
Only see the Jewel presentation, the Jewel Evans bike pedestrian.
Oh,
You can't see the.
all right, hold on. You see? Hold on. Okay. There you go. No? Anything? Yep. Okay. So you go to pocketgov.org. This takes you to this page. You go to the tab that says report a problem. Obviously, if this is an emergency, please, for the love of God, do not use 311. Call 911. Then you just go to the blue box, say yes. You select a category. Anything transportation related, choose other. We are trying to change this. Well, except for snow and sidewalk. You know, it's okay to report your neighbors. I am sorry to tell you, but it's okay to be a tattletale when it comes to your neighbors and sidewalks. Definitely help them if they are, you know, above a certain age, and try to be nice to each other. But if they're really like, if it's like in a commercial district or anything like that, you know, please let us know. All right, so you go to other. Here, when you describe the problem, do not prescribe the solution. Say, there's speeding happening on Florida and Tejon. You know, it is very unsafe to cross. Give my engineers the ability to think outside the box. If you tell them, I need a stop sign, all they will do is look at a stop sign. And in all honesty, the majority of intersections, a lot of these intersections do not meet that warrant. So we need to have them a broad mind. And we keep trying on our side, you know, to push them outside their comfort zone. But in this area, just describe the general project, the problems. And then if you can, definitely add a photo. If you do this on your phone, actually, so obviously, you know, you can take a photo right there and then down here is this really awesome tool that basically you just say current location, and it pings you where you're at that moment. So if you're walking on the street and you see a pothole or you see a broken curb ramp or anything like that, just go to pucketgov.org and just use current location, and the sucker will automatically ping where you're at. And then this is what we're working on as well. Sometimes it shows it. In this particular time it didn't. You can submit your email, you can submit your phone, and it's supposed to say there's a third option that's supposed to be working. It tells you anonymously in case you do not feel like you want to share your personal information. So if by any chance if you're in that route and you see that it's just not popping, sometimes I'm not sure why, sometimes it pops it and sometimes it doesn't. But if you want to submit it anonymously, feel free to use my email. You know, I don't care. Just be prescriptive and then submit it. We certainly did not get enough 311 requests from Southwest Denver for a variety of reasons. But that is a very important tool of how we allocate staff time, how we allocate resources. So we definitely need folks to feel comfortable with the system and use it. So, and that's my last page.
Gabby, thank you so much. My goodness. And yeah, I can say from personal experience, 311, especially on your phone, you're just like boop, boop, boop. It's very, very, very easy. And it, you know, we can get frustrated by things all day long, but if we don't do anything with that information and put it out into the world, you know, things aren't going to change. So yeah, super good advice. And just thank you. Like you make things even more fun than they already are, which is fun. Any last questions right now from any of our presenters?
Before we conclude too, Joyce put a really great comment in the text. I want to give her 2 minutes to just hop on and describe the vaccine option that I'm sure will be shared on Lucky District number 7, but it sounds like a limited number of vaccines. So Joyce, take it away.
So I found out yesterday that we've been approved to be a COVID vaccine site for Friday, February 26th. I'm not sure what time of day it will be, so we have a call tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's open to everyone or just a certain age range and stuff like that. So as soon as I find out all that information, I will put it up on our Facebook, on your Facebook, on the Nextdoor and all that. I also know that I think Athmar Park is doing a drive-through thing sometime the first part of March, and so is Revision. So they're really trying to hit this Southwest Denver area and get everybody covered pretty quickly. But as soon as I know more tomorrow after my meeting, then I will post it up there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joyce. This is so cool that this stuff is starting to develop. So good deal. We'll look forward to any updates that you have. And again, just any last questions that people have?
Hey, Brandy, this is Graydon. I have a question for the representatives at the city. Is there any updates on when the recreational centers will be open again?
There's not at this time. It falls under Parks and Rec, so City Council doesn't really have a say in it. We have asked for that information, but they have not indicated when they plan to reopen. And I know it's frustrating because the suburbs, their rec centers are open, but for reasons of safety, Denver has decided not to reopen. So.
Tate,
Appreciate it.
have any idea what the best platform will be as soon as we do know more information, or where people can keep an eye on that? Would it be through just Denver .gov, or what's the best platform?
Yeah, I believe Parks and Rec has like a mailing list that you can sign up for. We'll obviously put that information out as soon as it's available. I know it's been brought up, like, why aren't libraries reopened as well? Just because it's a great outlet for kids. So I would say go to our page because we'll get that information. We've gotten a lot of questions about it, but I believe that Parks and Rec might have a mailing list too, so, or an email list.
Great.
So much good information shared, and thank you for the questions, you guys. They're important. So, Jackie, any last words?
No, I really appreciate all the presenters, all the really great information, the great questions that led to even more great information. I just really appreciate this community. A quick reminder that this video will be posted hopefully tomorrow. We try to have a quick turnaround. And in general, we do have a YouTube page. It's just Ruby Hill Neighbors. So all past neighborhood meetings that we have recorded, they will continue, they will stay in the history of our Facebook page. But if you want just one place where you can go, for example, Safer Streets, which was mentioned tonight, they presented at our January meeting. So if you want to see that, you can go to that last meeting on YouTube. So just so you know, it'll be posted in both locations.
Cool. Well, thanks again. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate you.
Have a great night, everybody. Sorry.
You too.
Thank you, Brandy. Appreciate everyone being here. Thank you guys for sharing.
See you next time.
All right, bye guys.